anybody zooming in, John?
We have Steve and Mr. Perry
Okay.
with us.
Being that it's 6:30, you want to start recording?
Yeah.
And then we'll.
Hold on for 1 second.
Yep, that's okay.
Recording in progress.
All right.
All right. Being that it's 6:30 and we have a quorum, I will call the meeting of the Conservation Commission for August 17th open, and this will be a hybrid Zoom and in-person meeting. At this point, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from August 3rd.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
And second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And we have 3 new public hearings. So the first one up is for 457 South Main Street. And I will read that one into the record. Under the Wetland Protection Act, Chapter 131, Section 40 of Mass General Law is amended in the West Bridgewater Wetland Protection Rules and Regulations. The West Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing in the Brown McDonald Conference Room, 65 North Main Street, through both remote participation and in person, for notice of intent to install a 6-inch water main within the BVW at 457 South Main Street. And you're open, and do you have something to put up on the screen, John?
Yes,
Okay.
Good evening, Rebecca from Silver Engineering, here, 457 South Main Street, and the installation of a fire service on South Main, right across from Ash Street, the Red Barn unit. We're looking to put in 425 lineal feet of 6-inch water. We are trying to be as minimal disturbance as possible, not disturbing the wetlands or the pavement. So it's planned to just be a trench, linear, as it goes along the way. We have an erosion control sedimentation barrier along the wetland side of this project. We do have some buffer impacts to the 25, to the 50. I did outline them, the amount of impervious, the amount of impacts in the notice of intent. It's pretty straightforward. I've even started the DOT application for the roadway opening. We did get comments back from DEP with the DEP number saying the wetland line has expired, so we need to discuss how to resolve, how to...
Is this an upgrade to an existing line or an additional line?
This is a fire service that doesn't have fire. It has a well for domestic.
Okay.
Is this because of the reason why
Yeah.
last time? It's a good reason.
It's emergency.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of important.
Yep.
We tried doing an easement through a neighbor as an alternative. It just didn't work out. So this was the least impact and most efficient.
So you're gonna get a machine and just go along, do a little
Just
trench?
go along, do a little trench. In fact, we're gonna take out a few blocks of the wall and put them back just
Saw that,
just
yeah.
to get in there nice and tight.
So
And
it closes right up
Yeah,
after you
I mean,
go by and.
yeah,
You disturb, what, 6-8 inches of...
Yeah.
you backfill it as you go, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Anybody have any questions, comments? John?
See you.
I'm satisfied with the plan and the proposed project.
All right. Hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion. Yes.
I couldn't see the dog.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if
at
you were.
all.
That's fine. May I just go right
Yep,
over to
you can.
Okay, so where is your trench as opposed to where the drive,
The driveway is right here, and
Uh-huh.
the trench for the water line will be on the right side.
on the right
Right
side?
along the edge, right along the edge of the wall, right on the other side of the pole, and going up.
That's not where I live.
That is not
So,
where you live. Good, okay.
So you will backfill this afterwards, and does that have any effect on anything?
It's a linear work, so it will be backfilled as they go, so there'll be no open trench, no open anything, they'll just go along and backfill it as they, so it'll be a bucket width to a depth of 4.5 to 5 feet, and then they'll just fill it back as they go. No long-term disturbance.
Does the machine backfill it? I think so, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
pretty
it
much just
scoops it
pours
on
a
one
line
end
in
and
and
the back end fills it in.
yeah, pulls the pipe
Anybody else needed to
and
see
Yeah,
what a
pulls the
person?
pipe, yeah.
No? Did you You looking, I know you're looking.
No,
You're good?
I'm fascinated by it. So is this the wetlands itself?
That is the wetlands, yes.
So this is the buffer zone?
This represents a 25 foot, that represents 50, and that represents 100.
Okay, got it.
Has jurisdiction.
Okay. Mhm.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. I'll entertain a motion to allow work within the 50.
Motion to allow work within the 50.
Second that.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And I'll entertain a motion to issue the standard order of conditions.
Make that motion.
Second that.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Wish this was my only one.
They're also easy.
You don't, you know that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we have 77 Columbus Ave, for a notice of intent. I will read that into the record. Under the Wetland Protection Act, Chapter 131, Section 40 of Mass General Law is amended, the West Bridgewater Conservation Bylaw Rules and Regulations. The Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing in the McDonald Brown Conference Room, 65 North Main Street, through both remote and in-person participation for a notice of intent for restoration of a 50-foot buffer within to the BBW at 77 Columbus Ave. We are open. John, do we have anybody presenting?
Debbie Anderson is appearing through the Zoom.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So we are here with the owner, Wilson Perry. As far, I don't know, do you want me to share my screen, John, or?
Can you do it? I have it coming up right now.
Okay, that's fine. Great. So essentially, these are two neighbors. The owner of 81 and 77. They hired the same tree company to remove some trees at the rear of their property. This wasn't a malicious act. They didn't know that they were in jurisdiction. I'm sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay. So the owners have put together a mitigation plan, if we're going with 77. You can see the wetland line is in blue, and the 50 foot is just on the other side of the restoration area, and the 100-foot buffer goes through the house. So there is existing lawn up by the house. You can see the label existing lawn. What the owner is hoping to do is in the area of disturbance where the proposed lawn is, they're hoping to create a lawn in that area, and they have put together a mitigation planting area just beyond that in the 0 to 50 foot. On this property, the disturbance in the buffer zone was about 2,700 square feet with the removal of 8 trees. So they are proposing a 2,700 square foot restoration area in that 0 to 50 foot buffer zone, including 16 trees and 40 shrubs, as well as using the New England wetland plants, New England Conservation and Wildlife mix for a permanent ground cover. We're proposing straw wattles and silt fence for erosion controls just on the other side of that planting area. So we chose species that are found in the surrounding forest: high bush blueberry, sweet pepper bush, witch hazel, and silky dogwood for shrubs. They also have high wildlife value. And for trees, we were looking at 4 red maple, 4 northern red oak, 4 white oak, and 4 white spruce trees. Also, mast trees, so they'll produce acorns, which are great for wildlife, to get them through the winter. And so that is the current proposal for this property.
So where's the 50 again?
So the 50 is just on the other side of the restoration plantings.
Right where my
So the
cursor's going.
restoration plantings come right up to the 50.
Basically, right where the planting is.
The edge of the planting?
Yes.
Looks like a wall.
So,
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the red on
what-
the red.
so what happened is, when they had the tree guy clearing, he went beyond the 50-foot, which is this black dark line, sorry,
Yeah, okay,
this dark line here.
okay.
That's
Went
the-
up
that's
right
the
up to
50.
the, yeah, wood line.
So the green area was what got cut. It was in the 50.
They cut this.
And everything in the red was not touched?
The red was touched, this was the original grass backyard.
Yeah. For
And they
whatever-
cut the red, but that was outside of the 50.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it was
So-
within the,
Correct.
it was within the jurisdiction, so that's why they had to file after the fact.
Okay.
And they
So-
had
Right.
to file for the damage of the 50-foot no-touch buffer. And that's what this is here.
So the purpose of doing the clearing out in the red area was to have a bigger lawn area?
It was to eliminate trees from, that would potentially fall onto the house and cause significant damage.
Okay. How long,
These are 45-foot tall pines,
how long have the residents been living there?
34 years.
And when you had the tree company come in, did you have any indication on where to stop, where not to stop for the trees to be taken down? Or
We
to be
weren't
cleared?
even aware that there was any wetlands there because it was totally overgrown with briars. And I think John Delano had walked the area before.
So you-
and it was-
So you just went and had it done without any thought about asking about it?
Well, we weren't aware that we needed to ask, and our arborist didn't say anything about it either, so we were totally clueless.
So how'd you find out when after that was taken all out?
We had a conversation with John Delano about it, and he thought that we had a wetland issue back there. We hired a botanist, Debbie Anderson, to go back and confirm it to let us know what we were dealing with at the time.
So it sounds like 4 trees were taken down,
Yes,
big ones?
they were pines,
Shame.
Oh, we're gonna-
The
Large
only
pines.
thing I see with the plan is wetland markers will need to be
put in
part
the
of the
order.
order conditions.
Buffer markers too.
Right, I mean,
The 50-foot markers,
the
yeah.
no-touch markers
Yeah.
for that. But the planting plan looks good.
So after everything gets planted and redone, nothing's gonna be touched in that area again?
Correct, there's no plans to do any building. We just want to put some grass seed down and take care of whatever plantings we have to do.
Well, at least you're attempting to fix it, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's good.
And I mean, I feel bad for homeowners in this situation because they don't necessarily know where the wetland line is. And they're relying on a professional that's,
But a professional should be able to
Right.
say something though too.
and question it. And
Yeah.
hopefully call us or the conservation office and say,
Contact the town, yeah.
yeah, I think there may be a problem. Can you come out and look? And John's more than happy most of the time to accommodate them and take a look.
Right.
So it's a shame you have to go through this whole process.
Agreed.
Anybody have any other questions? Yes.
I can't hear you when you're talking. But I live at 22 Aldrich Road, and my land abuts that swamp, what we call it the swampland. when we bought that house, they said there'd be no building because of the wetland back there.
Yeah.
My thing is, I couldn't understand what she wanted to do, the one that lives on Columbus Ave.
What they had done was hired a tree company to come in and take down trees in the backyard.
Well, a lot of those trees in swampland were already down when we bought
Right.
the house.
Part of it was because some of them
So
were
they've been there
dangerous,
for-
and
Well,
they wanted more
I've been there
lawn.
since '97, so those trees have been down since then.
And so when the company came in to clear, they cleared a little further than they should have. And that's.
But I just want, you're not gonna fill it in and build
No.
things on it.
No,
No,
they,
replant.
No, because we were told nothing beyond.
basically where they
we-
developed
you know,
already.
We didn't, we just raised our backyard because it was really those years ago, and,
Right,
it's
and they're
just nice to
basically
have that,
putting the lawn into where they could have originally, but the developer never did.
because it is wet, I mean, boy, when, you can tell we've had a lot of rain. Okay, that's basically all my question was, I just hope nobody was gonna build a house in the backyard.
No lawn, and then.
I like seeing the deer coming out of there,
Yeah.
Well,
and
you'll
all
see
the
them
other little
again.
wild animals.
Any other questions?
No.
No, that's the only question I
Okay.
had.
Any other butters?
Any abutters, anybody else on this one? Okay, hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Second.
Moved and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And I will entertain a motion to do work within the 50 and to issue a standard order of conditions.
Make that motion.
And the markers.
And the markers are part of the standard order.
Okay, I'll second that.
Moved and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you very much.
That's it, huh?
Thank you.
That's it.
Next,
They'll do the plantings
That
and
was
hopefully
my
they'll
first meeting
take,
I've ever come to.
well, come to some more.
I will, now that my husband's not around.
Well,
Well, he grew up in this town, and I'd always say, hey, they're having a town meeting. Yeah, I know, we'll go. He'd come home, he goes, no, I don't feel like going, but if you wanna go. Now
you can
he's,
stay if you want, you
he's
know.
up there,
You don't have to go.
or he's down there, I don't know.
No, I mean you. You don't have to leave.
Stick around for the next one.
Because it was addressed to both him and me, and I said, well, I gotta go up there and represent me.
There you go.
So the next one is in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
right, so the next one is for 81 Columbus Ave, so I'll read that into the record. Under the Wetland Protection Act, Chapter 131, Section 40 of Mass General Law is amended, in the West Bridgewater Wetland Protection Bylaw Rules and Regulations, the Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing in the McDonald Brown Conference Room, 65 North Main Street, remote participation and in person for a notice of intent for restoration of the 50-foot buffer within a BVW at 81 Columbus Ave, and we are open. John has it up. I'm assuming we're having the same presenter?
Same
Yeah.
presenter, yep.
All right, so we're here with the homeowners. You want to introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Giovanni Vicas.
I'm Caitlin Because. So, as you heard, this is the property neighboring number 77. They had less disturbance. They had less buffer zone related with their property. So they essentially disturbed about 500 square feet within the buffer zone and removed one tree. So we're proposing a planting plan for that. They're going with the same. So you can see the buffer zone only comes up to about the middle of the property, where that line is in the middle. So they're looking to expand their lawn to the 50-foot, which is again right on the other side of the proposed planting area. And the plants that we're proposing for them are 2 red maple trees and 6 high bush blueberry and 6 sweet pepper bush in natural clusters within that 500-foot restoration area. And the same New England wetland plants, New England Conservation Wetland mix for the permanent ground cover in that area.
All right, I should have asked this in the last one. Is there any change in elevation? Or is it just basically smoothing it and seeding?
You want me to answer that, Debbie?
Sure, thanks.
Okay. We're planning on just making it a little smoother. I had talked to two companies, and they said probably like 3 inches, raise it up 3 inches.
Okay, but keeping the pitch basically right back to the wetland area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the basically the way it is now, the new septic tank was put in and it's very high up, so we're not trying to match it up to that high. We just kind of wanted to like gradually smooth it out.
And most of that work will be outside the buffer zone.
Right.
Yeah, you can see on the plan. John, if you want to pull that down a little bit.
Because one of the concerns when they do put in new lawns like this is that all the drainage ends up going onto the neighbor's property and doesn't shed to where it should. So that was the only question. I wanted to make sure we weren't causing a problem for other people in the neighborhood by having the water shed in the wrong direction. But I think later tonight
Yeah,
we
that
may
was
have one of
that was
those.
our concern as well. That's why we hired the engineer, and then we asked 2 companies just to kind of get an idea.
What does the note buffer disturbance 3,550 feet mean?
Well, that was all in our jurisdiction because we go up to the 100-foot.
Up to the 100, so
Right.
it included.
Right, but the 50-foot
100.
is the no touch, but if they do work within 100,
We still have to, yeah.
we get notified and have to make a
Is
decision.
this the same tree company?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad to see the lawns coming in finally. I walk by there on a regular basis.
Do you?
It's been a long project coming.
Is that a
The whole
new-
thing's
new
been
one?
longer than expected.
New house?
New owners.
New owners, okay.
Yeah.
And we did I did hire an engineer to come and map the property before we started doing this, when we bought the house. And they didn't mention anything about wetlands or anything, so we had no
Of course
idea.
not.
But I did take what I thought was the proper steps by hiring somebody to kind of let us know if there was anything.
Yeah, it's not really an obvious wetland, if you're not used to looking at wetlands. It doesn't really hold water and, I could see someone not recognizing it as being a wetland off the bat.
So what you're saying, Deb, is that when the surveyors were out there, their feet wasn't in water, so they didn't think it was wetland.
Potentially, yeah.
Just because it rained out?
They weren't there in July.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, get a different tree company.
Well, we can't cut anything else. We're all set, thank you.
It's all about planting now.
Yep.
Hope so.
All right, I will, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close?
Second that.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. I'll entertain a motion to allow work within the 50-foot and a standard order of conditions with signs.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. John, thank Kitty for helping me through the process.
All right, will do.
Alrighty.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have on the agenda 21 Lincoln Street. Continued hearing for the general stormwater management permit and construction of warehouse with parking.
We got that from Silver Engineering. We've been here before. Is there any status update with the review engineer?
No, they have not gotten back to me.
Are they working?
Yeah,
They're probably working very hard, we all are.
No, but I mean on this.
Yes.
They started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have accepted it. They do have it in-house.
yeah, I signed the contract for the commission weeks ago, so
Okay.
Any,
no updates yet.
It was a lot.
It's a big
It's
project.
a really big project.
Yeah, I mean, it.
But
Do we think 2 weeks for a continue, or,
Yeah, I think We should have a report within the 2 weeks, I would think, and it would be good to get an update.
It wouldn't give me enough time to redo everything, but it
But at
would
least
be
you'll have
nice to
hopefully time to look at it.
It would be
and-
nice to be 2 weeks, yes.
Okay. And if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to continue 21 Lincoln Street to the first meeting of September, which would be...
7th.
7th.
That sounds like a motion. Am I already here that day?
Probably won't be the last one as we go along
I
here.
guess I can go home.
Are you here for Lincoln Street?
No, we're not.
They were here for Columbus, I believe.
What, the Columbus one?
Columbus, yeah. We got-
You didn't have
we
any
got the first
que-
three.
You didn't have any questions on it?
No, we understand it, yeah.
I just didn't
Understand
want to see
what's,
a couple houses being built back there on wetland, which is making a mess of the wetland.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah,
came.
my
Well,
question
it's
is,
nice meeting you, Bob.
because I'm next door to Giovanni, and I have no idea what of my lot is wetlands or one of the buffer zones. And what's the best way to find out?
Do you want to take that, or you want me to?
There's a number of ways, without spending a lot of money.
Did we finish making a motion?
Yeah. You want a motion to continue to the 7th?
I wasn't sure we finished.
we'll get a second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
See ya.
Now you can get out of here.
Thank you, sorry.
Sorry
There-
about that.
There are some mapping tools online that gives you a rough idea where things are.
Okay.
There's a bunch of GIS mapping, there's a couple other ones you could probably contact John and he could give you the links to those.
Yeah.
And that would be the probably easiest way, John?
I think so, yes.
I'm thinking the cheapest way. The other thing is, now that you've had a neighbor get their line marked close to you, you can kind of see where those flags run, and it'll probably be a very similar pattern to that elevation through the back of your property as well.
Did you see the little flags on the trees? The
They're
little-
pink, usually.
I haven't.
If you go out to the corner of the property, you'll see, typically they use pink or blue.
The back of ours is pretty well wooded, and you can't really walk through to look and see what's back there.
Are you thinking of doing something?
No.
No. If you were, you just, I guess, come down to John's office and he'd work with you.
But it's always kind of nice to know, to have an idea where
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
are.
There's a lot of briars and brambles that prevent you from walking through there.
We have a lot of them too.
Yeah.
Did I answer it good enough, John?
Yeah, I think you did a good job.
Okay. I kind of figured that might be where you were headed.
Yeah. I'll give you my card, too.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And next on our agenda was continued hearing for 256, 258 Pleasant Street,
We
the general
received,
stormwater permit.
we received a email asking for a continuance to the next meeting, which would be the 7th.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to continue to the 7th.
Make the motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you for coming.
See ya.
And I think that's it for the public hearing part. So next we have administrative updates for 300 North Elm Street.
300 North Elm Street, we received a call from the new owner of the property. This was a very tight lot, it was a tear down and a rebuild, and everything had to be raised up. And because of that, there were concerns about water running on either a butter on either side because it was such a narrow lot.
Is this 300 or 296?
300.
Okay.
So 296 is in the butter,
Oh, okay, that's fine.
and I think 302 maybe, but the next one up also had issues with runoff. So we worked very hard trying to get the builder to grade the property so that it wouldn't direct runoff to the abutters. They were supposed to install a infiltration trench along the southern or left-hand side of Butter and failed to do it. So we issued a certificate of compliance because the buyers were in a dire need to be able to get in, but held back $6,000 to put in the infiltration trench. That was not done until this week.
Oh,
And
So-
how long was it?
It's approximately 60 feet long.
No, I mean, how long in between?
Well, it was dead of winter when they moved in, so there was no way he could do it. And
But these poor abutters went through the wettest July on record without having this put in.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
so I received an email after the phone call from the owner, new owner, and an email from the abutter at 296. And they were concerned, and so I told them that I would have it put on the meeting so we could discuss it, because if the builder hadn't got there to do the work, that we needed to take some action. As it turns out, they did get it done. I haven't inspected it, so I'm going to be putting it on my list of inspections to make during this, let's say, coming week, especially if it rains. And we'll wait for him to request his return of the $6,000. At that point, we'll put it on the agenda. But I needed to have it at least a toehold on this agenda in case we had to take some action and say we were going to start the process to seize the money and give it to the owner to use it to fix it up. And we don't have to do it at this point. How well the work was done, I'll be inspecting and checking it out and giving you a report.
Just a trench with rock in it, right?
Yeah, it's a shallow, narrow trench just to collect the water and divert it to the back so it didn't go onto the abutter.
Yep.
So it wasn't really complicated, but it still was necessary.
Okay.
now the abutter at 304, did they have concerns as well, or?
She had a lot of concerns at 304, and the new owner is very aware of it, and will keep that in mind. But up to the point of issuing the certificate, the water wasn't going on
In
to
that
her
direct-
property.
okay.
I mean, this could only benefit the new homeowner too.
Exactly.
Without coming in the basement or anything like that, so.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's just an update, and I'm glad that he did get out there and have his landscapers do the work. Otherwise, it makes our job a lot nastier, and we don't like to be nasty
No.
until we have to.
And I think next we have to sign some certificates of recognition
Yep.
for 2 volunteers.
Yeah, the young lady that was in and her companion, her friend who had been out, will each get a
Very
certificate
nice.
like this.
Yeah.
And
Very
so I'll
nice.
have you sign that before you leave tonight, and
And they got some positive press,
Mhm.
positive press on our Facebook page.
Good.
On the hub, so I saw that, which was
Good.
good. Which hopefully a few more people might step forward and take up the cause.
Might be able to get a group together.
Any invoices to sign?
no invoices.
No invoices. Wow. Is there any other business or anything else?
We gonna comment at all on the letter from Luke?
Oh,
I went up there and took a look so I didn't know if we were gonna do any discussions tonight
we
or.
really can't, because it's not
not-
on the agenda, but I guess keep it in mind. I'll make sure it's on the agenda for the next one, and we can even invite them in to talk to the commission and see what we want to do.
Okay. You were able to look it up, was it? Yeah, good.
All right. Wow. This was almost a record one.
Nice one.
Anybody have anything else?
No.
If not, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Stuck on that one.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. We're adjourned.